It is time once again to spin the wheel to try to figure out the best wrestler in WWE today. If you haven't seen the video series before, what we do, we have a wheel with the name of every wrestler in WWE today. We spin that wheel, whatever name it spits out, we randomly rank on a 1 through 10 list, 1 being the best wrestler, 10 being the worst, and we just pray that we don't screw it up. And we're wrong most of the time because we screw it up a lot. We put really good wrestlers at the bottom, or we end up ranking some wrestlers towards the top. After we get our 1 through 10 blind ranking, we do go through and make adjustments afterwards, because the ultimate purpose of this video is to move one wrestler on to the finals, where we are going to have 13 different wrestlers competing for the title of Best in WWE today. Past winners: Finn Balor, LA Knight, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and in the last video, CM Punk. We're going to see who joins that illustrious crew in the finals today. If you like this video and you like the series, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know who you're hoping to see move on to the finals. And while you're there, subscribe, like, turn on notifications, all the stuff that helps a new channel like mine to grow. But with all that being said, I am Isaiah from Hot Tag Wrestling, and let's get into it by spinning the wheel. All right, still a lot of great wrestlers on the board. Let's go ahead and spin to see who we are going to be getting next. The first person we're going to be placing on our list is going to be Candice LeRae. Candice is so great. She is maybe the most underrated wrestler in WWE. I think she's so fantastic in the fact that she is just used as sort of this lower card lackey to a lot of the bigger stars like Nia Jax and whoever else is such a shame, because when she was wrestling in NXT, and when she was wrestling on the indies and she was in PWG doing the mixed tag matches with the Young Bucks and everything like that, she was just so fantastic. So I'm not going to place her too high, just because she's not really used properly in WWE to her full potential. But when she is put in there in tag matches or in a losing effort to someone that whoever she's a lackey for is feuding with, she really is great. She's like Alba Fire in that regard for me, Kaylee Ray, where just completely underutilized. I would like to put her high. In terms of ability, she's probably a top 4 on this list, top 3, depending on who we get. I'm going to put her at number 5 for right now. I feel like that is fair for the ability that she has versus how she is underutilized in the roles that she is in. Love Candice LeRae. Want to see way more of her on SmackDown or on Raw or wherever. Next, we are looking at Montez Ford. Really great Montez Ford is. I think both of the Street Profits are fantastic. Montez Ford is probably the standout of the 2 Street Profits, just because he's a little bit, I want to say athletic, but he's more of the high flyer, the one who can do a lot of the big spots, the one that really stands out. He is uber entertaining. He's great at promos. He has so much charisma, so much incredible personality. And I feel like, him being one of the mainstays of the SmackDown tag division, he is sort of one of the centers of that division for me, where even though you have teams that are probably on par in terms of wrestling ability with the Street Profits, like DIY or Motor City or, whoever, Fraxium, no one can compare to the personality that Montez Ford puts out. So he's going above Candice. I'm going to put him at probably 3 or 4. Let's put Montez at 3. I'm going to put Montez Ford at 3. I feel like he's absolutely incredible, so charismatic, and also great in the ring. If he remains as a part of the Street Profits for the rest of his career, fine. That is a great thing. But if he were to break out into a singles role, he'd do absolutely fantastic in that role. Montez Ford is really great. A good number 3. Nathan Frazier. That's tough, because he's also really great. We're getting a lot of people right off the bat who are really great but are sort of used as mid to undercard talent. Just because the main event scene is so populated with greatness in WWE that a lot of these guys who are great wrestlers sort of fall by the wayside. Nathan Frazier, I'm not going to put him as high as Montez Ford because I don't feel like he has as great a personality, even though I feel like he is probably on par as a wrestler. Do I want to put him at 4 above Candice LeRae? Um, yeah, I'm gonna put him above Candice just because of his time in NXT this year as the tag champs, eventually losing the titles to Hank and Tank. He was really great in that role with Axiom, and then they've sort of just transferred that over to SmackDown, which is having great matches all the time. I shouldn't say great matches; that's probably hyperbolic. Just a little bit, very good matches in a division that is very good. So he stands out in it as a result. So good place for Nathan Frazier at number 4. Axiom, his tag team partner. Um, that's kind of crazy that we got them back to back. I love Axiom. I think Axiom is so great. I like him a lot more than I do Nathan Frazier. Not to badmouth Nathan Frazier. I just think Axiom is so great. I loved him since he was a kid. Wrestling in Spain. Obviously, the match he had was Zack Sabre Jr. in White Wolf Wrestling, and then he went on to have matches with like Will Ospreay. People were just sort of flocking to have great matches with him. Then he came over to NXT UK and was doing some whatever stuff because NXT UK was just sort of a whatever division. Um, I think yeah, I really like him as I don't necessarily know if I love him as Axiom, sort of the more high flying role. I think he's probably better a striker or a technician. But I think that speaks to the range that this guy has because he is a great high flyer and succeeds so well in that role that if that's not the best he can offer, imagine what he'll be able to do if he truly reaches his pinnacle. I'm putting him at number 2. And I'm sort of probably shooting myself in the foot by filling my 2 through 5 already. But I wouldn't feel right putting Axiom lower than that because I love him so much. I think he's absolutely my favorite wrestler in the SmackDown tag division right now, and all the upside in the world for becoming a real player in WWE. Oh, man. I mean, I gotta put Drew at number 1. Drew's the best. The reason that I'm upset about that is not putting Drew at number 1, because yes, absolutely, Drew McIntyre is a number 1 choice. It's that now I only have the 6 through 10 spots open. So if we get real good talent, it's going to be tough. And especially because we're blowing through a lot of good names. Drew McIntyre is the first, I would say, truly great wrestler we have on the list in terms of his ability in the ring, on the mic, with his charisma, as well as his booking, like how well he is booked. He's booked as a main event star, whereas the rest of the people on this list are booked in the mid to undercard. So Drew definitely gets a bump for that reason, but he utilizes his time in the spotlight so well, really making the most of every opportunity, always having great feuds, always cutting great promos. Literally everything he does is great, even when he's feuding with Jelly Roll and teaming with Logan Paul, like this just trash feud. Drew somehow finds the best he's able to bring the best out of it with the social media game, with this great sort of snarky heel character he has in the ring. I love Drew McIntyre so much. I don't know if we would get anyone else on the wheel right now. There are maybe some names who could be in contention for upsetting Drew, but I think it's very, very unlikely. Drew is one of the best in WWE today. Absolutely happy to put him at number 1. Hopefully, we're not running through some more great names for 6 through 10 because I don't really have a ton of space left. Tyler Bate. Oh man, Tyler Bate falls right into the category with the other wrestlers we have on this list, excluding Drew, of like really, really great, all potential in the world, just not really used to his fullest potential. And I think that, even if you were to put him in a tag team with, Pete Dunne or someone like that, and you were to put him in a prominent position on a television show, he could really succeed in that role. He's really, really great. But I am going to put him at number 7. because I feel like he is less utilized than everyone else on this list. He's not on TV that often, and he has an injury. I think recently he maybe came back from an injury, so that might be a reason. But when he is on TV nowadays, I feel like it's a little bit the same over and over and over again. I don't see a lot of variety in his work because a lot of times he's just putting tag matches for 6 to 10 minutes, so you can't really fully flesh out a story in that time. But I feel like when I see Tyler Bate wrestle, for the past 2 years, honestly, it's just been the same over and over and over and over again. I haven't really gotten any variety from him since he's been in NXT UK, since he was wrestling, Walter, and since he had his incredible matches with Pete Dunne. You haven't really seen anything too great out of him since, so I can't put him that high. So I'm putting him at number 7. And I'm really nervous. I don't want to get someone great here and have to put them really, really low on the list. We're getting Julia. Julia's great. She's going at 6. Uh, so now we only have 8 through 10 open. Julia is very, very good in WWE. I feel like a lot of the time when wrestlers are transferred over from Stardom to WWE, it can be hard for them to succeed sometimes because the typical North American style is so different from the Japanese Joshi style. Um, and you get people who succeed right out of the bat, like Asuka. You get people who work to really find a connection over time, like Io Sky. Um, but it can be sometimes hard, and I feel like that was the case for Julia because when she was wrestling at NXT, I wasn't that big of a fan of her, honestly. And I don't think her work rate is on par with some of the other NXT people of the time, like Stephanie, like Jordan Grace, like even Roxanne necessarily. I don't think her work was to the level because she did have that sort of weird chemistry coming over as a result of coming in from Stardom. So I feel like 6 is actually, based on who else we have on this list, an appropriate position for Julia. So I'm not upset by that pick. She has a lot of upside, though, is really great in the ring when you put her in there with the right opponent. All right, let's talk about Raquel Rodriguez. Okay. That is an 8 through 10 pick, so I'm okay with that coming up. I'm going to put her at 9 because she's not the worst, but she doesn't really have a lot either. She's just sort of the muscle, but doesn't necessarily impress in that role. Like, I don't get the same feeling for Raquel Rodriguez that I do from Oba Femi, or I did from Braun Strowman in 2017, or that I did from Wardlow when he first debuted. I'm just trying to think of recent monsters who were really effective. Lance Archer during the pandemic. You don't get that from Raquel Rodriguez because she's a little bit, in terms of hitting the timing, hitting some effective spots. She's not really there a lot of the time. So she doesn't really execute her role effectively most of the time. But she's not terrible. So I'm going to put her at number 10. No, number 9. I'm not putting her at number 10. I'll put her at number 9. All right, we got our 8 and 10 left. No absolute travesties so far in terms of positioning on this list. Hopefully we don't... Stop. Okay. That was a minefield right there. Gunther, then Ilya, and then Io right after that. But we landed on Ivar. Here's what I'm going to say about Ivar. And this will speak to how credible he is in WWE right now. I'm not 100% sure which member of the Viking Raiders Ivar is. I know Hansen versus Rowe from their time as War Machine. Like, I can differentiate them because of that. I think Ivar is Hansen, the bigger one of the two, I think. But it sort of speaks to his credibility that, I can't really tell the difference. I'm going to Google which one Ivar is real quick, just to be 100% sure. I'm pretty sure he is the big one who had the singles run a couple years back when his partner was injured. But let me just verify that. If so, yeah, he is. So Ivar is very fun when you watch him a few times, but is very much diminishing returns as you go on, where there's just not a lot in the well. He does a moonsault, he does a dive, he does a handspring, but once you see that once, it loses its luster, and that's the spots that he repeats every single match. So once you see Ivar on Raw for like the 10th time, you can't really get excited. And we're seeing him on Raw for the 50th or 100th time this year. So, um, 8. I'll put him at 8. I don't think he's worthy of a 10. All right. Who could we get on this list that would be I would be okay with putting at a 10? Maybe Lexis King I would be okay with, Natalia, Nikki Cross, Omos. Who else? There's not a lot of Miz. There's not like a lot of people who it's like, okay, that's a definitive 10, which makes me nervous we're going to get someone a little bit higher. But let's see who we get to go in our number 10 position. It is oh, come on. Easy number 10. Thank you list. Nikki Cross is bad. I don't like Nikki Cross at all. I think her character, sort of being the weird, wacky, insane girl, so cringe, so outdated. It was terrible when she was part of Sanity in NXT. It's terrible as part of the Wyatt Six, even though her role is really, really scaled back. Absolutely happy putting her at number 10. She's one of the names I said, like, I would be okay with getting her at number 10. And honestly, Nia Jax was right before her. I'd be okay putting her at number 10 too. But Nikki Cross, easy number 10. She's fine in the ring, but her character, her mannerisms, her promos, terrible. Terrible. So cringe. So let's look at the list that we have right now. We have Nikki Cross at number 10, Raquel Rodriguez at number 8, Raquel Rodriguez at number 9, Ivar at number 8, Tyler Bate at 7, Julia at 6, Candice LeRae at 5, Nathan Frazier at 4, Montez Ford at 3, Axiom at 2, Drew McIntyre at 1. I was real nervous about the list when we got our first couple entries, especially when our first 5 picks filled the top 5 spots. I was nervous that this list was going to go to hell. It didn't. I'm pretty happy with the order that we're in. Would I make any changes? The only change that I'm really considering is swapping Julia and Candice. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I do like Candice more as a character, and I've connected with her more in the ring than I have with Julia. So I think she is an appropriate number 5. So this is the order we are sticking with for our final list. Crazy that we got here. Drew's our number 1. Axiom, so underrated. Number 2, Montez Ford, absolute charisma machine. So excited to see him wrestle. At number 3, Nathan Frazier, very fun, not a lot of personality. At number 4, Candice LeRae, incredible wrestler, underutilized at 5. Julia, still finding her footing on the transition from Joshi to North American. At number 6, Tyler Bate, little samey at number 7, Ivar, even more samey at number 8, Raquel, who can't really utilize her role properly, at number 9, and Nikki Cross, who is just cringe, at number 10. I'm very happy with that list, and I'm very happy to see Drew moving on to the finals. What could have easily been a disaster actually ended up pretty good. Drew McIntyre is moving on to the finals. He's joining CM Punk, his old friend. He's joining Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, LA Knight, and Finn Balor in the quest to become the best wrestler in WWE today. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of my rankings. If you thought there was anyone who should have gone above Drew, not likely. But if you think there's some rankings in this video that you maybe would have swapped, some people you would have put higher, some people you would have put lower, let me know down in the comments below. And while you're there, like, subscribe, turn on notifications and stuff that really does help a new channel like mine to grow. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I have been Isaiah from Hot Tag Wrestling, and I will see you next time.